You've been kidnapped. 25 minutes later, your kidnapper dumps you on the street because you wouldn't stop talking about what? I just did a 15 or so minute rant about Hawkeye being the worst Avenger and why they did him so dirty. That made my husband want to do so probably that again. Stop was that Black Widow sucks to like martial arts, but at least she doesn't run out of arms. But Hawkeye's got like 10 bolts. He's done thus like 80 seconds of him helping anyone. There was more, and my husband started insisting I stop or he'd run away screaming. Lol. Did you see the Bigfoot bumper sticker? I love seeing them because it's like a mini Bigfoot sighting. Not nearly as intense as a real sighting obviously, but it still makes me laugh. I've been obsessed with them for most of my life. Bigfoot. Not bumper stickers, lol. The dents of an unknown hominid going back to pre-colonization America. There's these giant pictographs that show a daddy mummy and baby hairy man, and according to the local tribe they come back. Ahama for okay. It's about these big dudes in space suits that are super powerful. They have this emperor, Biggie if you will, and he's got like 18 sons, well, more like 20, but that's a whole other story. So you see he had a son named Horus, who turned on his father and called it the Horus Heresy. Okay, so the heresy started 1,000 years ago during the Great Crusade. This Great Crusade was about. Oh, why are you letting me go? How I get that everyone loves Fair and Reese, that they kind of annoy me. But so does Nests and Cashiers, and Elaine made him so scared for the one he loved he would have rather lock her up where he could keep her safe than risk going through the pain he went through under the mountain where he had to watch her suffer. How being in Scientology changed my life. How it could give him the support he needs to overcome drugs and find his true calling. How all he needs is an emitter, some profiling, and $40,000 to remove the tethans that are attached to him and everybody, because an evil alien dropped them in a volcano from spaceships that look like DC-10s. Also how Shelley Miscavige is alive and well and totally in love with David. He makes the mistake of turning the TV on to try and muffle out whatever noise he plans to make. It's an episode of the old cartoon Camp Laszlo. I proceed to list every voice role Tom Kenny has had, which snowballs into me talking about Adventure Time, of which I then spend as much time as they will allow doing a dissection of. The kidnapper does not have taste, and thus they do not understand. Birds. It's always going to be birds. All the birds I've seen and photographed, the places I've gone to see and photograph birds, the people I went with to see and photograph birds, all the Latin names of the birds I've seen and photographed, all the facts I know about the birds I've seen and photographed. He'll be so bored by the minutiae that it probably won't even take 25 minutes. Extreme couponing. Hat could get shit tons of groceries for free near free by cutting and using thousands of coupons at my highly competitive grocery stores that doubled, tripled and super doubled manufacturers' coupons. I could rattle off what I actually paid for nearly every item I purchased. I'm already annoying myself just typing this out. As the straight-up weirdo he turned into around the time that Nick served him cocktails and he got Ferguson rather than being the token black guy for 3 seasons. And he would get that title hands down. But I'm not annoyed that it's Schmidt. I mean, he's the best wife on the show. That's the thing. We're not sure who Mesmer really is. He could be Melina or McQuella, but is he the hero or a demigod you'll have to fight in the Shadow Realm? And then there's yet another poison swamp, and 8 new weapon types. Either way, DLC is coming in June, and I just don't know if I want to start a completely new game or go through at Eng 31. I could talk about Taylor Swift, Formula 1, romance books, One Direction, 5 Seconds of Summer, my long list of celebrity crushes, and I even have some things to say about politics. If my kidnapper lasts 25 minutes, he deserves a pat on the back. 'Cause my own mother doesn't even last that long before she tells me to shut up most of the time. He's shipping manager. And how Tony, Tony seems like a nice guy, but I heard that he got into a big fight with his neighbor, who's a big wig at the company down the road. And he called Mr. Blythers, the vice president, and he said, nothing but a mentoring session to boost their morals. How philosophical might the situation be? Should one be a stoic or should one be like Nietzsche? Have they seen Lupin on Netflix? It's so awesome. Would you like to find out more about my chinchillas? No. Why? You haven't met Fuzzy's Paw Bags, Whistler's Mr. Tails. 8 more names yet. Here's a funny one. The other day, Tails took the food of Pinky because he thought the bowl belonged to him. Oh my god, classic Mr. Tails. Might get shot, on top of being dumped on the streets though. How lonely I am and how much I just want to connect with someone to make the world seem real for once. I don't know why they picked me up. There's no one at my home, but it's just nice to be wanted. It would be nice if they took my hood off and told me the ransom was friendship and we went out and had some beers and fries. That's what everyone wants you to think, but really Travis Kelce is the CIA sire, underground UFO base. While the real one is actually a new Android bot they are testing. That's why it yelled at the coach because they haven't worked out the bugs in the behavioral inhibitor module, expensive as dolls, and how they are made and stolen for profit, and how much work is put into every part of the process. Seriously, last time I started the topic with my BF, we ended up staying up till 2 with him listening to my rant about dupes, the process of making an original one. I'll be explaining to them that the Ranger is, in fact, one of the best classes in DD after all the buffs it got, plus the most powerful subclass in the game besides Twilight Cleric Gloomstalker Ranger. Also, if you min-max into a Shadowkai, max Dex, get SS and CBE, you can deal up too. Oh. Prying for the trauma that caused them to be making these choices, and psychoanalyzing their mother relationship. I don't normally do that to random people, but who could resist? The musings on the limits of the confidentiality in this situation might be what pushes them over. DH is from the Camellia sinensis plant. If it doesn't come from that, it's not tea. Herbal tea is not tea. It's just fruits and flowers. Yerba mate and rooibos is not tea. It's a plant from South America and Africa. Tea is not bitter. You burnt it and don't know how to make tea. Being over-complimentary about everything they do, so it comes across as condescending. Hey bud, great job back there with the abduction, you're trying your best and that's all that matters. That sneer just now was spooky, literal goosebumps, big guy. You've got this well done. Native plants and ecological restoration. I can be quite pedantic about straight species versus cultivars of certain plants. Don't get me started on invasive plants, insects, and its effects on the local ecosystem, health and economic-wise. This goes over real swell at parties. The history of metrology and the science of measurement, how the French defined the meter standard before they even knew what it was, how they navigated a course from Dusky to Damascus and extrapolated their results, and oh, why are we stopping? If the people who kidnap them, sometimes even growing into full-blown sexual attraction, willing to do any perverse thing that they get asked to do, even if before that moment they were an anal virgin. Daddy, how Youve should have been a contestant in Total Drama Action to be a serious villain and antagonist within the season, as well as to help support other villains within the show. Childish, yes, but it is one thing I could talk about for 25 minutes. All the extra Mass Effect lore. They will either kidnap me knowing nothing and leave informed, or they shoot me for explaining the difference between mass drives and singularity cores, or how the Rachni are better builders than any other species. If there's one thing I know about DD, it's that nobody wants to hear extended stories about a game that they're not actually involved in. It's like explaining an inside joke, except the inside joke is 3 years of weekly sessions long. I'd get so excited about finally dying, and probably go over extremely gruesome and disturbing ways in which he can finish me off. The guy would probably find the whole thing so disturbing that even the ransom money aren't worth it. Talking about how he drive paying attention to the music should clean his low into the window. I need a fresh air. Can he even get NC Donald's at list? I could be a kidnapper too. I noticed you just kinda threw me in here. I think you'd do lot better if you lured people in somehow. I think we'd make a great team. I could be the mastermind and you could be the scary guy. Video games, specifically open world video games, specifically Final Fantasy 15. Yes, I know 16 is already out and the second part of the 7 remake is coming soon. No, I'm not quite ready to part with Noct & Co. Elder Scrolls lore and constantly naming out all the Daedric princes. I went to bed the other night naming them all, but I forgot one and I refused to just Google it. My first words when I woke up were Malakath. At the moment, my intense fictional crushes, Commodore Norrington from POTC and Dr. Livesey from Treasure Island. There's only so much fervent, thirsty book film analysis a kidnapper can take, surely. Actually, I just talked. But if it had to be one thing, it's me trauma dumping on how my sister once worked for 62 days straight for $1.03 and then got written up for not putting out enough freight. It's all about the chorizos. You know you can put chorizos in just about everything, right? You fry it, you put it soups, you eat it like a hot dog, and it helps flavor everything. What's your special recipe? I could do this with 3 TV shows: Doctor Who, Stargate, Star Trek. Honestly, I would also go out of my way to tie them together. We know Star Trek, Star Wars, and The Simpsons exist in the Stargate universe. Military tactics of the Napoleonic Wars, and then a full run-through of the Battle of Waterloo, complete with analysis. I sometimes do this when people come and bother me when I want to be left alone. I knew he was coming and I have already taken their family as hostage. I put them in my basement and they need to win my game in order to survive. And in order to survive, I need to survive as well. The most annoying thing I can think of: rocks, crystals, being a witch, personal empowerment, and how I am a curse the fuck out of them for kidnapping me in the first place. People hate that shit.